Section 9.1, Solids. What you'll learn: to identify solids, parts of solids, and skew line segments. New vocabulary: solids, prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, polyhedron, and skew lines. Why learn this? Well, consider that our world is made up of largely three-dimensional figures, or solids. Artists use three-dimensional figures in sculptures. Let's have a quick check of the skills you'll need. Number 1, vocabulary review. How is a polygon different from a circle? And numbers 2 and 3, name and describe the angle measure of each regular polygon. And now for new vocabulary for this section. We'll learn about several types of solids and the definition of solid. Solids are objects that do not lie flat in a plane. We could say that rather than being two-dimensional figures, solids are three-dimensional because they have 3 dimensions. They have length, width, and height. Below are some common solids. A prism is a solid with 2 parallel bases that are congruent polygons. The lateral faces are parallelograms. Note the figure below. We have a vertex labeled. Note the vertices are all of the corners. We might call them corners of this prism. The bases would be, in this case, the pentagons that are on top and the bottom of the prism. We have another vertex labeled. We have edges, at least the base edge, labeled. So edges would be those line segments that go around a lateral face or a base. And then we do have the lateral faces and lateral edges marked. We might call those sides. If we were referring to a box with this shape, we'd probably call those the sides of the box. Whereas the bases would be the top and the bottoms of the box. A prism is named for the shape of its bases. The prism above is a pentagonal prism. Note, because its bases are pentagons. A pyramid is a solid with exactly 1 base, which is a polygon. The lateral faces are triangles. Note we have a lot of the same things labeled in our pyramid here. We only have 1 base. We might call the bottom if we were looking at a pyramid in real space. We of course have base edges, lateral faces, lateral edges, and vertices. Note we have the peak vertex, the point at the top of this pyramid, labeled as a vertex. A pyramid is named for the shape of its base, similar to prisms, except that a pyramid only has 1 base. The pyramid above is a square pyramid. Note its square base. A cylinder is a solid with 2 bases that are parallel. They're also congruent circles. So note the 2 bases of this cylinder. And notice also that the lateral surface of the cylinder is curved. To the right, a cone is a solid with exactly 1 circular base and 1 vertex. Again, we have a lateral surface. Note, different from above, in a cylinder and a cone, we have lateral surfaces rather than lateral faces, and that has to do with the shape or the curvature of these lateral surfaces. A polyhedron is a solid whose faces are polygons. Of the solids above, only prisms and pyramids are polyhedrons, because, note, cylinders and cones' faces are not polygons, they're circles. A vocabulary tip before we move on: polyhedron means many surfaces. The word poly, or prefix poly, is something you'll hear a lot in mathematics. It just means many. Polygon, polynomial, polyhedron.